this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Monday, June 27th. And today, Chiron in Pisces goes retrograde. It's the last quarter of the moon, and it is also the yod ends today. So we have a lot of energy percolating. And so I thought I would bring you down to the river because water is, of course, the main energy in today, and it is a very healing. It's very healing to be near water when we have so much water energy, really inspiring us to make some positive changes. So let me give you a little history on Chiron. Chiron is, from what I've read, it's like a comet that's never fully formed into a planet. It also has a mythological meaning as well. Chiron's orbit is between Uranus and Saturn, and so it picks up energy from both of those two energies. And so it makes sense that the symbol for Chiron is a centaur, and basically that is a mythological creature that is part man and part beast. And I kind of think that that would be something that you could describe energy caught between Saturn and Uranus. Like Uranus is this like insane rebel type energy. It's a very, very eccentric, loves expressing itself in originality and, standing out in some way. And it's very futuristic, and it's very, very unpredictable energy. And then we have Saturn. Saturn couldn't be more polar opposite to that energy. Saturn is very conservative. It stands for Father Time, and so we've got the future and Father Time. Future being Uranus, Father Time, meaning anything that stands the test of time, or Father Time. It's a very old and wise energy, and it stands for death and structure and consistency and predictability. So you can imagine right now that when Chiron is going through this Pisces transit, one thing that's very difficult about this energy is that you have this strange feeling to launch forward and to make some progressive energy, but the problem is that we've got conservative and stifling Saturn trying to make you understand the big picture by squaring in an almost exact square with Neptune, which is in a Piscean energy as well, because Chiron is in Pisces. So we are not allowed to move forward. We are not allowed to embrace our originality, our identity, our original, our authentic voice without considering the big picture, which in this case would be, it would have a lot to do with the fact that we need to consider life lessons as well. We need to consider all that we've been through and all the wisdom that we've attained, and we need to move forward with the reality of our situation. The way that we can solve our problems right now, the way that we can face these deep wounds, the way that we can face our authentic self and our desire at this point, I think one of our deepest desires is that we embrace the fact that we are in this state of manifestation. We are not the same old in this energy. We're different. And I think that what this energy is trying to get you to do is to embrace your differences. In order to do that, we have to acknowledge our weaknesses as well as our strengths. Now, I feel like the past few years was breaking down our reality so that we could understand at this point in time, and this point in time represents to me probably one of our weakest points, but also one of the strongest and most invigorating times for futuristic thinking and original thought. It's breaking down structures, but at the same time building new concepts and new perspectives. We are caught in very dualistic energy, and this entire year is about a dualistic mindset, right? It's all about, embracing who we are right now, strengths and weaknesses. It's about facing them. See, we can't move forward if we're not real with ourselves. If we're not real about what we've been through, if we're not real, there's like a claw right by my face. But if we're not real about some of the challenges and some of the things that we've been through, it's easy to want to avoid and to stay away from the reality of our situation and to get caught in these ritualistic, habitual mindsets. But I'm going to tell you that your wounds are just going to become more apparent in this energy. What's being brought forth, I think, is, it's so strange. I've been going through something a little bit, but I'm okay. Like, this is the first time in my life where when I go through something like this, it usually derails me, and it usually like leaves me all broken and sad, and it leaves me vulnerable, and it leaves me very with the inability to cope with my situation. But I don't feel that way. I feel strong. I feel like I can endure it. I feel like no matter what happens, it's destined. I feel very relaxed in this energy. And even though some of the things are being brought forth again and testing me to see how far I've adapted to my Achilles heel in this energy, I think what it's proven to me is that I've adapted quite well. And for some of you that are just now going through the revelation process and that awakening process, what you're going to find is that there is a lot of really cool energy helping you along. It's not breaking you down continuously with no relief. It's allowing you to have some sort of energy that, brings forth really positive perspectives. So even though there's all this negativity that's swirling around, and there's all this reality, and there's all of this energy that's making us, accountable and consequential, I think at the same time, I think we're embracing our identity and our originality and our authentic voice. And for some of us, this is getting very progressive. Now, I want to say that I did the energy for this week for Mars going direct, and for the most part, I see that Mars going direct, in general, the general reading, not specific to your ruler, is very, 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 very positive. Okay, so I think it puts the stamina and the endurance. So right about the time when I believe that energy is really overwhelming and our wounds are really dredged up, and we've really been faced with our demon, or it's really been brought forth where we've gone wrong, and the cumulative energy of like everything that we haven't been doing right. It's that part man, part beast energy that is in Chiron. At the same time, what I think is being brought forth is, I'm sorry, I keep having these itches and I don't know why. At the same time, I think it's important to know this. So I went through a lot just within the last week as the energy of Mars going direct in Scorpio energy is building. And one of the things that I couldn't get away from it. For some reason, it was a serenity prayer. So for some of you, this is going to mean a great deal, and it's something that I feel like I must talk about. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right now, I think it's what's being brought forth is the humility to know that there are some things that we've done, or things that we are ashamed of, or ways that we have acted in the past that did not represent our authentic self or the self that we wish to be moving forward. At the same time, what I think is being brought forward is the fact that we can make some changes. And I believe that's why God kept inundating me with this message to give to you guys, is you can make a change in your life. You are not stuck. Unless you intentionally want to remain in a spot of stagnant energy, you are, with all of this Aries energy, this first quarter of the moon has everything to do with a cardinal-based energy. So it's just being brought forth to make some changes and being realistic about what you can change and what you can't change. Being realistic about like the whole point of the Chiron energy, Chiron being in Pisces energy, Chiron, the centaur, the mythology behind it was that, you know, the centaur got wounded and had an inability to heal the wound, and he spent his whole entire existence trying to find a way to get out of that pain and heal that wound, and in turn became very, very specialized in healing. And so I think that for some of you, what you don't understand is that in the midst of all of your weakness, in the midst of everything that you've been through, there was always something destined and positive to come out of it. And for some of you, it is to be a guide for others who has suffered along your same journey or along your same path. I definitely resonate with this energy, because I wouldn't be doing these readings if I deeply didn't feel the need to heal and to be there for others in their time of need, because obviously at some point in my life, astrology got me through really rough times, and that's why I consider it my gift to you, is because I have suffered just horrible suffering and energy. I can't even tell you where I don't remember a time in my life where I had a lot of consistent positive energy in my life. Why it is my quest right now to make sure that you guys don't hurt the way that I did. It's like I want to take everybody under my wing and show them that it is possible to choose your vibration. It's possible to stay in a high form of vibration even when your life is falling apart. It is time to be rational. That it is okay to be irrational, but to find the rationality and to see the broad picture, to see and to broaden your perspectives. I want to open you up to this piece that I have found, and to be your guide, because that's what I was put here for. The last quarter of the moon is an important cycle, because the last quarter of the moon signifies a clearing. So it signifies that it is time to clear the energy, clear the decks, acknowledge what we've done wrong and what we've done right, and it's time to take the next step, right? It's time to progress in energy. And the way that we do that is we become very real with ourselves, and we make some very tough decisions. And the tough decisions that we make put us at crossroads for some of us. And those crossroads are what we will have to live with. And if we make the wrong decision, I'm sure that for many of you, there is a fear and an intensity behind some of the decisions that you're making. But all in all, I think that it was for the best that we are here in this spot in our lives for a very precise reason. Not to suffer, not to lose ourselves in this stagnant energy, but to find the most positive and uplifting energy that could come out of this particular cycle. It is a beautiful time. The yod ends today. The yod is almost exact today. There is a special message in this energy when we're at the last quarter of the moon. The yod ends today. The bottom of the yod, the sextile, gets almost exact. And then we have Chiron go retrograde at this all at the same time. Beautiful, destined, gorgeous energy, filled with lots of potential, lots of realism, lots of positive energy. You need to acknowledge your life. You need to not wallow and act like you're suffering. Look, I know that there is pain and fear and loss, and for some of us, a lot of energy pushing us to the outer limits, but that's Uranian. That's Uranian energy, honey. When Chiron goes into retrograde, that's Uranian energy. You're supposed to be stretched. What do you think that mutable Grand Cross was about? What do you think this mutable T-square is about? You're being pushed, and your endurance level is being pushed. And let's see what you've learned over this period of time. Let's see what is exactly, the point of all of this energy. Mercury in Gemini is having a gorgeous, beautiful, hold on a sec, I just want to make sure this is not looking at my camera. I'm going to be right back to tell you how this is going to affect your sun, your moon, and your rising sun. Hi dear Aries, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going retrograde at the same time the last quarter of the moon and the yod ends. So this is a big energy for you. I think one of the biggest things about this day for you is that Mars in Scorpio is getting ready to go direct. And so your energy is caught in this yod, and it's the very last day of this yod conversation. And Mercury in Gemini is going to be sextiling Uranus and Aries, and it's almost exact. So big changes are coming, I think, for you. You know, your energy is trining the last quarter of the moon and trining Chiron. So I'm feeling like, although some of the energy that's been revealed lately has probably been harsh and been very humbling, I think what is being brought forth in this energy is just the fact that changes are necessary and needed. And you're ready to face the music. You're ready to face all this energy. You're not one to back down when there's a challenge that is being asked of you. And I believe that there's a big challenge being asked of you right now. And I believe that you are thinking this through. And I believe that it is difficult for you to have the humility in this energy. But this energy is all about getting you to acknowledge a weak spot, something that you don't do altogether well, something that maybe somebody excels at better than you. It's about acknowledging the fact that you have to be very real in this energy, that it's not about falsifying this to yourself. This is about that Saturn and Neptune square. When they have this conversation, in the past, I think you felt more in control, and what you're really having to do is acknowledge that you're just not in control. But that will clear the energy. And when it clears out this energy, you're cardinal, you're fierce, you're willing to make the changes and do what it takes to change outcomes. But what more, I think the best thing that happens in this energy is that you face the music, you face you. You re-identify the way that you attach to yourself. Humility is necessary in this energy, guys, for you to get the fullest. One of the things that Chiron, the great wounded healer, had to acknowledge is that there was going to be a wound that would never heal, and that there was no cure. And that instead of maybe trying to just focus on, you know, your own suffering and your own wounds and your own pain, it was to bring forth a greater understanding for all, because there was such love and compassion that was poured into this life lesson. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Taurus, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going retrograde on the last quarter of the moon, which is going to be in Aries, and a yod ends today. In this energy, you're going to value yourself enough to create some forward movement in your life and away from all the past. This isn't about reliving the past. See, in the past, there was suffering. And what you're starting to understand is that moving forward and being cardinal is the only way to progress your life and give you what you value most. I think that you are transforming your hopes and dreams and wishes and aligning them with what you value most, which is longevity and security. This is about securing and making some consistent energy happen for yourself. Now, I want you to understand that at the same time this is happening, we're having this beautiful energy where we have this yod, and it's almost exact at a glorious sextile. So conversations around what you value most, and wrapping your head around it. See, I think what happens with Taurians sometimes is that Taurians fear the unknown. And in this energy, when we have Chiron dredging up your fears and dredging up the unknown. It's between Uranus and between Saturn, so there's this need to control and secure everything at the same time that you're acknowledging that you're at a spot where I don't think that you're the one in control of these outcomes. So I think what's going to be very important about this energy is that you just be very realistic about your expectations. Don't push in this energy. You do not have the antidote to creating no suffering in your life. You are manifesting in this energy, and as soon as you can wrap your head around that, what you're going to do is you're going to start to create different concepts. You're going to move away from old stagnant energy that doesn't serve you, and you're going to come up with lots of solutions to your problem at this point, or that energy that just doesn't seem to be like moving along in the way that you need it to. Remember that your energy in this particular transit on this particular day, because we're at the last quarter of the moon, so we're at that, like Chiron is the end of energy, and this Aries last quarter of the moon is the beginning of energy. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is you've got to get out of your head, and you've got to stop making the same mistakes, and you've got to start creating new solutions, and you've got to break free from old patterns that no longer serve you, because in the end, if you just concentrate on your suffering and your pain and the fear, you will never progress in this energy, and this is a very progressive energy. Remember this almost exact sextile that happens today at the same time that we have the last quarter of the moon, at the same time that we have a Yod and we have Chiron going into retrograde, big energy build. And we're a few days before we have Mars go direct, guys. So you're building for something, and only you know what that something is, and only you know the solution to your problem, but what you have to do is just take a different route. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi Gemini, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron in Pisces going into retrograde. At the same time, it's the last quarter of the moon, which is in Aries, and the Yod ends. So, but before it ends, it goes out with a bang. There's a big fireworks display between your ruler and Uranus. This is an almost exact sextile, which means super lovely, super positive energy. So today, opposition will challenge you to move forward in a new and very unique way. You are diverting your future and your energy. The next month you will have the knowledge on how to move forward. You are passionate about breaking free from rituals, habits, and routines in your thinking, especially your habitual thinking. I think many of you know that there is something that needs to change in the way that you think. I think that in this energy you may find that you completely divide from your old sense of self. What has been going on in you, I think, is beautiful. See, you're being stretched. And even though you're one of the most adaptable energies out there, I think what's important to understand is just what this means to somebody like you. You have to be pushed harder because you're so used to being adaptable in energy. And so what is going on is there is this faded conversation that happens where you have to deeply identify with what you want, what you hope for, what you dream about. You are not adapting to somebody else's path, but a path and a journey all on your own. This has nothing to do with preconceived notions or what you perceived the past would lead you in whatever direction it was. I think many of you are directionless 98% of the time. This energy somehow compels you to make a decision, change dramatically what you identify with. This is a very fated time. Now remember that at the same, there's a fellow Piscean energy, which is Neptune in Pisces, which is in retrograde right now, which is having a square off with Saturn, which means reality check time. Guys, this is what you really got to face. This is the real issue. These are the real consequences to what's going on. I think what can be very difficult in energy like this is the fact that, you know, when you break free from the old sense of self, it's almost like you have an identity crisis. And I think it can be very hard to, you know, completely understand what you deeply desire from this situation. Now, understand that Mars is going to intensify this, right? Mars is in a quincunx, so I think you're going to see a lot of energy progress some of your ideas and some of the ways you're thinking. I think it's going to progress it significantly as we go further into when Mars goes direct. So I think right now might be a confusing day, but I definitely think that come the 27th, or excuse me, about the 29th, 30th, end of the month into July, I think you're going to start to get some clarity as to what all of this meant. Very confusing time, lots of squaring off, lots of opposition, lots of challenge to get you to face. See, you're not going to do anything because you're so compliant, unless you have somebody nudging you, and then it pisses you off, and then you alternate between your twins, and they have this big rebel fight, and before you know it, your thoughts challenge you to make some significant changes because there's no consistency in what you're identifying with, and there's a lot of energy asking you to identify with something significant, someone significant. What this is what path do you want to go down? What do you want to be? Who are you? Like this energy, when we have Chiron in between Saturn and Uranus, there's lots of identity crisis there's an identity crisis right now. Trying to identify with anything, you know, anything that provides some form of familiarity. And I think that can make you feel very hypersensitive right now. And it can really be quite a revealing process. I think if you're extremely honest with yourself, this is probably the most eye-opening and completely unpredictable time that you have ever been through. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Cancers. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron in Pisces going retrograde. At the same time, there is the last quarter of the moon, which is in Aries, as cardinal energy. At the same time, the yod ends. So we have a lot of crazy energy all at once. And let me tell you something about that yod. The base of the yod, the most positive form of energy that could come out of the yod, the answer to that question is in an almost exact square. What does that mean? That means clarity. That means empowerment. That means that you're no longer in your mind. The reality of your situation and the path that you need to take becomes very, very clear to you in this energy. You know that something is changing from deep within in this energy, and you are at a crossroads. Enlightenment and clarity are highly possible today. Now you can identify the path that you need to move forward with. This is a scary time filled with anticipation of possibilities and the unexpected. You may fear the unknown. At the same time, you are compelled to move away from energy that no longer stimulates you. You're clearing old energy out. You're clearing energy out that no longer suits you. The moon, the last quarter, the last phase of the moon is completely huge for you. Because what the last quarter of the moon deeply signifies for you is an evaluation process. What's working, what's not working, where have you been investing in, what have you been doing right, what have you been doing wrong. Like, there's a lot that goes into this energy. And when you're going through this process, I think you are just clearing it for fresh, new energy. You want a fresh perspective in this energy. It's time to prepare for the new moon's energy, which I believe is very beautiful. You have to understand that with this much ending means lots and lots of significant and energizing new beginnings, and is highly possible in this energy. Understand that there is a square. There's a square between Neptune, which is also in a fellow Piscean energy at this time, with Chiron, and it is squaring off with Saturn. So this is about getting real. This is about facing it. This is about seeing it. This is, your eyes are wide open, and this is about, there's no denying the challenges that lie before you. You have to understand that Chiron, it orbits between Uranus and Saturn. So the conversation is clear. If you want to move forward, if you want to change your outcome, if you want to do anything, understand that you understand what the challenge is. Now the conversation, the fated conversation you're going to have with yourself is this the right path to be on? Am I doing the right thing? Is this where I want my life to go? Like, some of you are going to be having that very crucial conversation. What I think is most important about your energy is this energy needs to stimulate you. Now understand, the sun is in Cancer, Venus is in Cancer, so you are very authentic and cardinal in this energy. You're willing to kick a little ass, you're willing to make some positive changes, and this is your energy. So you have this giant buildup in energy at the same time that you have really honestly a powerful revelation, because Uranian energy is an awakening process. It's the Tower card in astrology, in tarot. So what I think this deeply resonates, if you're deeply honest with yourself, is that it's time to make some changes. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Leos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading with all the sun, your ruler, my ruler, beating down on me. So Chiron is going retrograde. At the same time, there is the last quarter of the moon, which is in Aries. At the same time, the Yod ends today, and clarity, a destined conversation is going to be happening between Mercury, the way that you think, and the way that you interpret your environment is going to be happening with Uranus. Now for you, this is looking at the big picture. This is taking a look at everything you want right now, and you are very progressive in this. Chiron is energy that goes between Uranus and between Saturn. And so there is a need to have control, or for you to move away, or you have the big picture right now. And I think that that's what's important. You've been on a journey for a while, and I think you know what you want in this energy. Now understand that you are very progressive in this energy as far as an accumulative energy. You're not about staying stagnant in energy. You're really honestly about embracing this Uranian thought process. I want you to understand that there's some humility that comes along with this type of energy. Remember that Chiron gets you to acknowledge where your wounds lie and become very real in the fact that you can't change everything, and that you can't fix everything, and that you don't have the exact antidote to completely morph into a different sense of self. So the humility happens in this energy, or that destined conversation happens, when you take a look at the big picture and you actually realize that you're a visionary in this energy, and that you will be making a conscious choice to move forward. And you are very cardinal in this energy. Changing a karmic path will allow you to work on healing very, very deep wounds. But you're going to get real about these wounds. Like, you're going to get really real with yourself about the fact that even a Leo, in the midst of the sunny day, in the midst of everything, is still a very vulnerable human being, just like everybody else. I think that you're at a crossroads, and that you deeply desire to attract new adventure in your life and to raise your vibe. You are all about the good vibes. Why do you think the sun is shining so greatly at the time when I'm doing your particular reading? It's because the sun is nurturing you. It's pouring its heart out to you. It's pouring positive energy. We just went through that the longest day, really trying to revitalize your energy. So I believe that this is very new and exciting. I believe that bonds can be created in this energy, very exciting bonds. I believe that you can manifest a great deal at the end of this cycle. You are at the end of a cycle, and I think that some of you know it. You can get a little cocky in this energy, and that's when you kind of have this whole square off with the last quarter of the moon in Aries. You get a little bit too ego-oriented, and I want you to be mindful of that because that's not a really high vibration, just to know. And even though you were at the end of the cycle and you're feeling all like badass in this energy, know that the journey was necessary and to be very thankful for the journey and to respect the journey. And don't just move forward without remembering your weaknesses and remembering some of the pain and remembering some of the suffering, because those are boundaries. You have to remember your boundaries in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Virgos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron in Pisces going retrograde. At the same time, we have the last quarter of the moon in Aries. At the same time, we have the final yod, and we have a sextile, and it is almost exact within that 1 degree mark. So we have a major conversation happening today. So a cycle is beginning to end in this energy, and a change is probable. For many of you, a change is going to bring something very positive eventually. But just know that we're at that last quarter of the moon, and that last quarter of the moon is in a square. So this change is making you very sensitive. This energy is making you very sensitive. And this energy is emphasizing your relationships, which is a very sore spot with you because you often attract a lot of pain in relationships. And so the end of cycles, what you revisit in an end of a cycle is just how much suffering and how much pain you've lived through. And then you really become very real about the fact that endings are inevitable, beginnings are scary points in energy because it's new energy, and sometimes there's a vulnerability in the fact that you've got to face something new. I think you have intensified your interpretation of the past relationships in this karmic lessons, as well as the pain you have suffered. This energy will allow you to recall the life lesson. So this almost exact sextile that we have is between Uranus and Mercury. And I believe what you're having to wrap your head around, and that you're having to identify, is the fact that Uranian energy is difficult because Chiron goes between Uranus and Saturn. So, I mean, there's a sense that you don't have control, but there's a sense that you need to make the changes, but it's unknown. And I think that anytime you get into unfamiliarity, there's a sense of hypersensitivity that inevitably follows that. So some of you may be starting out, let's say, a brand new relationship, or you're talking about, or you're thinking about all of the past pain in your last relationships, and you're ending the cycle, and you're thinking a lot about this. And when you get hypersensitive, one of the things that's deeply revealed in this is that there's obviously a big reality check that goes along with this type of energy. I want you to know that this yod is the answer to your questions, or this yod is the answer. It provides you with clarity. It provides you with an awakening process. It opens you up to a different perspective on subjects that I think deeply have made you somewhat vulnerable in energy. Now, what I want you to understand is that when Mars goes direct, I think for you, you have to let go of something. You have to let go of the way that you interpreted everything. And you have to be able to take a look at this from the Uranian mindset, which is the big perspective, the overall perspective. And I think that if we do that, I think that you're going to find that what is received in this energy is perhaps some of the most enlightening and revealing energy that you've had in a really long time regarding these very, very sensitive topics. It's a gorgeous time of healing, filled with lots and lots of powerful energy that will take you on to the next cycle. You're clearing out the old in this energy, and you're revitalizing yourself, and you're becoming very humble and very realistic in this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Libras. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going retrograde at the same time that we have the last quarter of the moon in Aries. At the same time, we have the last day of the yod, and the yod is in almost exact energy, which means that this sextile is crazy beautiful. It means that it's under that 1 degree mark, and so lots of clarity, lots of positivity is absolutely possible in this energy. Now, this last quarter of the moon is going to be a process where you get real. You get real about your relationships. You get real. You open your eyes and you see this situation for what it really is. And you have to make some decisions. It's a tough crossroads. It's a really tough decision. And I think you get really cardinal in this energy. And I think even you know that there's some changes that are necessary and need to be made. Your ruler is conjunct the sun. Oh my God, there was like, a mouse. Like some little random mouse that just ran by my computer. I might pass out, but I'm cool. Like, I'm not scared of mice, but I am. Like, why? Like, they're a mouse. But, okay. It's a mouse. It was literally like that big. But anyhow. So today you are expanding your perspectives on what you can and can't control. For many of you, it has been difficult to move away from past mindsets and habitual thinking. You are adapting to your new perspectives and testing boundaries and comfort levels right now. A new path is emerging in the midst of all this confusion, and many of you are making some very, very tough decisions regarding your closest bonds and unions. You are balancing out the power you have at home with the authority figures, and you are finding your voice. I think the biggest thing that I keep saying to you over and over again is that in the past, you were just a person that went along and were a people pleaser. And in this energy, you are becoming very original, authentic, and you're finding your voice and you're standing out in this energy. And I think it shocks relationships. I think it doesn't follow along with the status quo, which of course is what all of this Uranian energy is about. Remember, Chiron goes between Uranus and Saturn. And Saturn's caught in the past, and Uranus is all forward energy. So I think you're having this little energetic period where you're trying to kind of separate the way that you've always done things from the way that you need to work moving forward. But I think, it's letting go of comfort zones, and it's really becoming authentic, and that's very difficult when I think you really just want to make peace all the time and balance everything out and be this crazy, beautiful person. But you need something in energy right now. You need to be nurtured and loved and wanted and secure. There is something you need that I don't think you always needed, and it's a new level for you. And so I think that once you start moving forward with this energy about this new level, what you're going to be very, very well aware of is the fact that, you're going to have lots of conversations about the big picture. You want these people to understand you. You need intellectual stimulation. You need to have conversations that just turn you on. This isn't so much that physical component in energy, although it could be. It won't sustain you. It won't hold you down in energy. What's really going to hold you down is these people got to mentally challenge you. They've got to really, really engage you on a different level. It's clearing out the old. It's being very real. It's taking a look at what you've done right and wrong and being very, very real about how to progress in energy. It's about the end, the cumulative cycle. At the same time, we're having the beginning. We're creating new options. We're creating new energy. We're taking a look at the big picture. And in that energy, we become very, very cardinal. And I believe that's just going to catch people off guard. And then you're going to have some of this squaring energy that I see, and and then you're gonna second guess yourself for some of you because you want that acceptance. But I think in this energy overall, what's going to really be brought forth is the Uranian unexpected component in energy where you're just gonna knock the socks off of people. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Scorpios. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron in Pisces going retrograde at the same time that we have the last quarter of the moon in Aries, at the same day that we have the last day of the Yod. Oh my God. So we have a lot of energy. Very powerful energy asking us to make some very significant changes. Your ruler is trining both of these events, and there is so much powerful energy right before Mars goes direct. So I want to talk to you about it because, of course, for some of you that want to stay stuck, this is going to be a difficult energy. This is going to be lots of tough conversations, lots of reality checks. Your habitual routines and habitual thinking is going to be challenged. You are going to be met with a lot of challenge, and the warrior is you're starting to feel the energy building to where you're getting more and more direct about what you want and direct in your approaches about things. And it's building, and you can feel it. And I think what's happening is that you feel big changes are imminent in energy. It's time you reveal what is at the root of all of why you have been routinely holding back. Now, some of you, this won't be an easy process. Some of you won't have an option in this energy. See, what's going to happen in this energy, I believe for some of you, is that you have been holding back. You've been holding back in something, and so it's holding back the potential, I believe. And so what's becoming very aware to me is that you can't hold back anymore. Like, it doesn't serve anybody for you to be, holding back. And so there is an intensity brewing from deep within that you need to take a risk when it comes to a possible pleasurable outcome. It's time to let go of the energy that makes you pessimistic, and you are at a crossroads, and it's time to get ready for a new energy. You feel new energy. You feel it brewing. You feel very, very cardinal. You feel very like you're getting ready. You're ramping up in energy. So what this is bringing forth is a need to make some changes. And I think you want to clear. You want to take the shovel in your life, and you want to clear it all the old, and you want to get ready for the new, because stagnant energy is just not, it's not progressive enough for you. And I think that you deeply understand that in this energy. Just understand that, at the same time that we're having all this progressive energy, one of the things that I think that we have to get really real about is the fact that Neptune is having a very intense conversation right now with Neptune in Pisces, and Chiron is in Pisces. So if you are unrealistic, you are going to have, or if you want to stay stagnant, or if you want to just do the same old because it's habitual and it provides you with ease and energy, I think you're going to find that Saturn will throw up an obstacle, because Uranian energy is what you're trying to embrace in this particular energy. Understand that your energy is squaring off with Uranus energy. So I think that there's a need to control things for some people who are caught in the negative vibration. And you're gonna have this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have that clarity, the conversation that you need to make some changes, and mentally I feel like you feel inspired to do so in this energy. But what I think is going to happen in this energy is that you're letting comfort zones stunt your growth. You are psychologically stunting your own growth for some of you, and Uranus is going to come in there and shake, rattle, and roll some of your lives if you are not adapting to the fact that there is need to make progressive changes at the same time that there is a need to get some control over some of your habitual thought process or your routines. So you're being pushed to take risks. At the same time, you're being asked to be very controlled with your risks, and be realistic about everything. If you're unrealistic about anything, if you're stagnant, Uranus is going to go in there and shake things up in a very crazy and negative way. But you have to understand that sometimes you need a nudge, sometimes you need your ass kicked in energy, because what it really means for you is that pisses you off. You want to pull out your stinger and you make some radical changes, and you're like Cardinal, you got your stinger up and you're like, F this, I'm facing you, and this is what you're going to get if you fuck with me. Like, that's the kind of, but sometimes you got to be pushed this way to get you out of your comfort zones, especially with all this Cancerian energy and the Sun and in Venus. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Sagittarius. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going retrograde at the last day of the yod, and we are in the final phase of the moon. It's going to be in an exceptionally cardinal energy, so this is like the end of energy meets the beginning of energy. This is like an accumulative energy coming up with brand new ideas. Understand that Chiron is part man and part beast, and Chiron goes between Uranus and Saturn, which those are opposing, and of course we're caught in all this dualistic energy. So you can imagine that massive change is necessary and probable for a lot of people. Now, this yod is a very destined, beautiful energy, because as we're clearing out the old, we kind of need some answers, or we need to be pointed in a direction, because we can often get sidetracked in energy, as there's so much energy stimulating you in particular, and lots of different facets of your life, and you can easily get distracted in this energy and get caught up in all the euphoric part of the energy. So, a cycle for you begins to end in this energy as you open up to the possibility that you can change the way you have reacted in past relationships. You are opening up to experimental energy that is inspiring you to take a risk, and you want to risk it all in this energy. Boy, you are lively in this energy. Understand that opposition gives you, like, you dig it. That's debatable energy. That's mentally stimulating energy, and you've got lots and lots of energy, in just that very thing. You are a creator in this energy, and I think that you are very responsive to this energy. I think that you are getting ready to risk taking a chance on a very pleasurable outcome. I think that in this energy, I think that you are creating a new plan for the future, and you're clearing out a great deal of old emotional baggage. Whatever you do in this energy, don't resist, because as you know, I always say, what resists persists. And so in this energy, what you really want to do is understand that we're really creating a new outcome. But we're wise in this energy. You also have to remember the wisdom of your experience. And you can't completely disregard all of your experiences, because those experiences were very, very pivotal. You're in this exact spot for a very important reason, and you've got to figure that out. And that's part of the cumulative energy. That's part of that antidote for the problem that, that Chiron is always looking for but never quite getting. But that's just only so that you grow. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hey guys, it's Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going into retrograde, dear Capricorns, at the same day that we have the last quarter quarter of the moon in Aries, at the same day that we have the yod that ends today. And that yod, the base of the yod, the clarity is almost exact. So we are getting a lot of really positive energy, providing us with clarity. At the same time, we're being asked to make some very significant changes. Your energy is being trined, and there is a sense of enlightenment, and there's a sense of feeling like you completely understand what you need to do moving forward. And it's such a pleasurable energy because I believe that some of you have been unveiling this. What I think, more importantly, this energy says to me, especially with you, is that communication, or the way that you have always done things with either a sibling or family members, is changing. The way that you perceive the situation now is having you make a really tough choice. So I think that the way that you perceive the situation now has made you reconsider about the way that you're approaching something. And if you had a tough choice to make, I think you have some unusual clarity. Again, you're at the beginning of this energy, so to me this suggests that you're very realistic in this energy. I think it's hard to see the big picture. There's a lot of squaring in your energy, so I don't believe that you have the answer. I think of it like, Chiron was always looking for the antidote to the problem, and you're a fixer, and you like to be in control. But I think what's very difficult in this energy is that I think for some of you, you have to learn to relinquish control. You have to learn to accept the wound and accept the limitation that you have in you. And I think seeing that picture is going to be part of the revelation process. There is a feeling of helplessness in this energy, or powerlessness. That's part of the Chiron process, is to, at some point, Chiron, had to accept that there's just really nothing that can be done to heal this wound. And then it became a quest to help other people deal with this situation. So I don't think that I think what's becoming very clear to me, I think that you're not necessarily vested in the particular situation, but you're just more overly helpful. I believe that people have to go through this process, and I believe that for some of you, what you may have to accept is that although you may be elevated in this energy, I believe that for some people, they can't see the elevated perspective, or the way that you were trying to help, or the way that you were trying to be there, and the sacrifice that you were trying to have for that, or that you were trying to make for them. And so what I want you to understand is to forgive and to forget that everybody doesn't deal with energy the same way that you do. And although that you understand the way that you were approaching it was out of a selfless mindset, I believe that for some of you, it's very difficult in this energy, especially if you were trying to nurture a situation where the help was unwanted. I believe that you're going to understand in this energy that people have to go along their own journey, and that you can't accelerate the process, the healing process for anybody, or the process whatsoever with anybody. That you're on your own path and they're on your own path, and that you have to, at some point, just let them go. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Aquarius. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron and Pisces going retrograde at the same day that we have the last quarter of the moon, which is going to be in a cardinal energy on the last day of a yod. So we have a very significant day for you because your ruler is involved in the last day of the yod, which to me, this is extreme point of clarity. The way that you think has really changed about a situation that may have been painful or may have been a long journey for you. And you are willing to change your mindset and to risk it all to create a much more powerful mindset and a much more powerful outcome in this energy. You know, Saturn is trining the last quarter of the moon, which means it is clearing out energy. You are at the end of a cycle and at the beginning of something new in this energy, which I believe is very, very ordained. Is this a difficult time? Making changes always are. Being humble in energy always is. Being compassionate can be very difficult when you're moving forward, and the way that you're moving forward may be a difficult step for you. And so sometimes you can get super defensive and overly sensitive. So energy will ease your mind as you clear out the old and get ready for the new. The value you place on peace of mind is changing, and what you hope for, you are really letting go of all of this intensity. There was so much intensity with you. You have been changing, and you have been going through a lot. And I believe that you're at the end of it. I really do. I believe that a lot of the suffering that you have endured has been such an awakening process for you. And the clarity and the fact that you need to make changes and that you have become very humble in energy. And you're not a humble creature. You're a very forward energy. When Chiron goes into retrograde, and the energy considers both Saturn's energy and it considers Uranian energy, what you're going to find is that sometimes there's just things you can't change. There's thoughts you can't change, no matter how forceful you are with your opinion. Some people just can't think as forwardly as you do. And they can't see your perspective because you're an incredibly forward thinker. Like, I don't know, it would be like trying to recite, poetry to like a little child and have them really deeply understand it. If somebody was very forward thinking, they could, even as a child. But I think for the most part, I know that when I was younger, I knew all of these songs when I was younger. And then as I got older, I swear to you, it wasn't until between 35, 40, 45 in there that I didn't understand. I never understood what those songs meant. I sang them, I knew every word, I loved them, but I didn't know what they freaking meant, what they were trying to say to our souls in that song. I do think for some of you that the recent past has left scars. Chiron is all about the energy that has to deal with the realization that we've been through a lot. The realization is that sometimes we can't create the antidote that's necessary for people to evolve as fast as you have. So I think what you're going to acknowledge is that these scars were something that you needed to feel to evolve, to come up with solutions, a new approach to your life. And had you not went through that very enlightening time in your life, I don't think you would have understood just how important it is right now. The newness, the excitement, the clarity that's gone on over this last 6 months, I think has been unbelievable for you. Is it easy? No. Chiron suggests, when Chiron is in Pisces, it suggests that at times there was great suffering that commenced, and there was a time of a deeply emotional time for you. What this is going to require is a great deal of mental discipline moving forward. The way that you interpret the situation is super important. Understand that it's our mind that we're dealing with in this energy. It is the healing of the way that we think about it, to take a look at it from the big picture. It's not about taking a look at the fact that we have these scars and these wounds and who did it to us and why they did it to us, and the anger and the resentment that can build in that type of energy. What it is how did I grow? What came forth of it? What positive thing can I pull from this situation? And I think that as soon as we do that, I think you grow and you manifest your potential in this energy. I think that all of you are learning the value of moving forward and being exceptionally cardinal in energy and not being headstrong and stuck and regimented and just, in stagnant energy that no longer serves you. I think in this energy, your eyes are super wide open to the reality of your situations, the reality of the consequences of staying in stagnant energy, and the reality that Uranus is really asking you to make some powerful decisions about what you want to do moving forward. Remember that Chiron goes between Uranus and Saturn. So there's a sense of needing to get some control over your future, create the antidote for the problems that you've been through, and provide healing to the masses. Like, you're really into, there was such a beautiful energy that came forth from your suffering. I think out of everybody, I feel the most beautiful energy came forth for you. Because you've been going through this for so long right now. And what I think that is super important, honey, is that you understand is that everything happens in divine time. And although karma has been kicking your ass a little bit, I believe there was a destined reason for it. It was a huge character building time for you. I believe that there was a weakness, a refusal to acknowledge a weakness, but I believe that you're very real about this weakness and this energy. And this is all about moving past that and becoming very real about both your weaknesses and your strengths, and about how you can make a positive result out of all of this negativity that you have been suffering through this entire time. Now, I do want you to understand that I do know that it is difficult to make changes. I do. I get it. Especially in a state where your values, what you value is changing, and why you value what you value is changing. I think that, it's like this. The older I get, the more I value my youthful days when I could climb mountains and I could scale anything I wanted to, and I didn't have to go home and take ibuprofen because I just kicked my own ass. Like, I didn't have a limitation when I was young. I am an insanely physical person, and so I have a respect now for that youthful time in my life when I seem to have endless amounts of energy and endless amounts of strength. Every time I suffer through the painful endeavor of going home, or maybe I fell down and sliced my knee open, which I did this weekend, or I beat my shin up, or, I don't feel like I used to because I'm older and I have to actually medicate myself, which I never have. And so I have to be very realistic about how I take care of this new state, this new time. The cumulative energy is I have to become very realistic about my weaknesses. And my age is it's not a weakness, but it just doesn't allow me the freedom that it once did. And I think that's the whole point, is now that I get out in nature, and now that these challenges just get harder and harder as I get older and older, I feel more victorious. Every freaking year, I put miles on this body. And so I think, because when you're young, you don't appreciate it like you do when you're older. So what I want you to understand is, though you put miles on these life lessons and these karmic lessons, and you're to the point to where you are, how much have you learned? I mean, it's been astounding, right? Beautiful energy. This destined conversation, I think, is extraordinary for you. You can't deny, when you're in an almost exact sextile with Mercury and Gemini, this is about creating something positive from all of this negativity. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Pisces. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Chiron in Pisces going into retrograde on the last quarter of the moon. At the same time, we have the last day of the yod, and the bottom, the answer, the end-all being of all of this energy that's been going on with Gemini energy is involved in an almost exact degree. I mean, it's just a teeny bit off of under that 1 degree mark where it's an exact conversation with Uranus. So Chiron orbits between Saturn and Uranus. And Uranus is at the base of this yacht, having almost an exact sextile with Mercury and Gemini. So clarity is it's imminent. It is the energy that comes from this. It's almost like epiphany energy. It's almost like a sudden awakening. It's almost like an aha moment, right? You are re-identifying yourself, your structure, your life, the path you're going on, who you are, how you want to shine, what your outlet is, what your purpose is, what's so authentic about you. You're identifying that right now. That's Uranian, hun. And, Saturn's been beating the hell out of you, making you extremely aware of what you're not being you're realistic about, because you want to know why. Because you are something bigger than stagnant energy. You get stuck because it's safe and it's familiar, and you don't there's a sense of vulnerability, and there's a sense of, a fear of hurting and a fear of weakness and energy. There's a deep sense in this energy that you need to be valued for who you are right now, and who you were no longer matters. It doesn't matter how you grew up. It doesn't matter who you were 6 months ago. You're identifying yourself more so than you ever have in this energy. And I think that that's what's really important about what's going on right now, is the fact that, this is about moving forward. This is about that energy that makes you very realistic about what you want and who you are and what you value most about this process, or what you value most about all of what you've been going through. You have to pull out, of course, what you value in this energy as we clear out the old energy and we start anew. See, when we get to the last quarter of the moon, it's a clearing, and it's in a very cardinal energy. So this is probably about tying up loose ends, tying it all up. It's about having those conversations. It's about, bringing forth the true you. So, and being very Uranian, very, very Uranian in this energy, very cardinal, very authentic. It's a very exciting time for you. This is also changing many of your paths in life, many of the directions that you have been going in. I think that you are very emotionally in tune with this transit. That's because Saturn is speaking directly to you as Chiron. First of all, Chiron's in Pisces. Saturn is squaring off with Piscean energy and Neptune. But Chiron goes between Uranus and Saturn. So tell me you're not getting a download right now. Tell me that right now there is not some amazing energy challenging you to break free from the old preconditioned notions with people about who they thought you were, about who you thought you were. You are really going through a process right now, and you are accepting the things you cannot change in this energy, and you now have the wisdom to identify with new energy that you need to move forward with. Come on, guys, you are going through one hell of a gorgeous cycle. And although this energy has opposition and this energy has a significant square in it, what I think is even more important is the fact that you're super cardinal. You're really attaching to the cardinal energy in this, and you're not about staying stagnant or stuck in energy no longer. This is that Uranian energy. I want you guys to know that this yod is a destined yod. It is the clarity that comes from this yod, I think even you are going to understand that it was from something bigger, something that is so incredibly spiritual and so incredibly destined and fated, that I believe that you are going to know that it's a signal, guys. It's a signal from the universe. Just clear out the old and let's start over. and let's get more and more authentic every single day. Thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.